Hi there, it's Lisa Oliver here, and today I thought I would read the first chapter of Reconciliation, which is Seth's story, The Gods Made Me Do It, Book 11. This follows on after Ra's story, but it can sort of be read as a standalone. Please note that the copyright to this and anything to do with my work all belongs to me. Thank you. So this can't be reproduced or sold or used in any way except to please read it or please listen to it and please enjoy it. Okay, so chapter 1. Luca Sterling stood just outside the hospital doors, pulling the tie out of his hair and taking deep breaths of the early morning air. The sun was only hinting its arrival, the sky pushing soft pink and gold over the town's rooftops. It was November, and the chilly night temperatures could still be felt in the air, although the clear skies suggested it would get warmer as the day went on. Tugging his coat around him was a habit rather than necessity as Luca hurried to his car. 12 hours he'd been working the emergency department, which was 11 hours and 58 minutes too long. His few deep breaths of clear air weren't enough to clear his nose of the stench that came from too many drunk idiots who thought getting behind a wheel was a good idea. Fumbling for his keys, Luca's only thought was to get away from the hospital and find somewhere he could let his wolf out. It would mean driving away out of town. Great Falls wasn't a big town when compared to some in California, but it was spread out. Natural wolves were evident in various spots in Montana, but the recent new hunting laws, allowing for the snaring, wolf baiting, and no-kill limit on the number of wolves taken, meant Luca took his life into his hands every time he's let his wolf side out. I seriously need to start thinking about moving again, Luca thought as he started his car, backed out of his space, and headed out of the parking lot. He still had 3 months left to run on his contract, but Luca was starting to think staying wasn't worth the risk. As he went to pull out onto the road, he caught a glimpse of something coming towards the car. Luca slammed on his brakes instinctively. A big man, dressed in dirty jeans and a torn flannelette shirt, who appeared to have blood pouring down his face, collapsed against the driver's door. Luca wound down his window. "Are you all right?" Luca tried to get his door open so he could get out. "Sir, I'm a doctor. If you can just move away from the car." "He's a doctor. That's what we were looking for." The man leered as he pulled a gun out from under his shirt, pointing it in Luca's face. "Worked just like you said it would." Luca turned in his seat to find his passenger door open, and a guy who could have been the first guy's brother, sans blood, pointing a rifle at him. "Get out of the car." "I'm not even in my shifted form, goddammit." Keeping his hands high, Luca slid out of his now open door. "My bag," he gestured towards the trunk of the car. "If you need me to help you." "Bah, this is nothing." The first guy wiped at the blood on his face. "Not even mine." He grinned, showing a chipped front tooth. "But yeah, Darryl, grab that bag. Doc's gonna have some stitching to do." "Look," Luca said desperately as he was herded towards a van idling on the side of the road. "If someone's hurt, they need to be in the hospital. I can take you in. If you don't have insurance, it won't matter. Just let me get in the van." Luca felt the prod of the rifle in his back. "I ain't got no problem shooting out your kneecaps, boy. You don't need them to stitch anyone up." Luca hesitated for a split second. His wolf was just under his skin. As a shifter, he was a lot stronger than he looked and could move faster than most humans too. But he couldn't beat a bullet. One from a handgun maybe, but 2 guns pointed in his direction was a risk too far. There were cameras around. Someone would notice his abandoned car. Climbing into the van, he hoped they kept his head uncovered so he can keep an eye on where he was going. "Sit." Darryl climbed in after him. There was only one seat and his captor was already in it. Folding his legs as best as he could, Luca sank to the floor. The back of the van was littered with old rags, a rusting toolbox, and bits of thick rope that looked like they'd been cut. Nothing useful, in other words. Blood splatter guy jumped in the front, slamming the van into gear as he slammed the driver's door shut. It worked. We fucking did it. Am I good or what? The van jerked as it pulled out onto the road. Look, guys, if you tell me what's going on, you don't need to know nothing. Darryl hefted his rifle in his hands. Luca didn't know a lot about guns of any kind, but he hoped like hell that thing had a safety catch. Swallowing hard, Luca looked towards the front of the van again, but from his position on the floor, he couldn't see anything but the brightening sky. Shoving his hands in his jacket pockets, Luca prayed his captors wouldn't search him. If he got a chance to use his phone, guess I'll have to wait for that chance. Bracing his feet against the uneven floor of the van and leaning back against the side of it, Luca kept his breath even and waited. It was the middle of the afternoon, and Seth was in his usual spot in the back of a bar, a pitcher of beer and a single glass on his table. Phone in hand, Seth was watching some stupid video while he kept his eye on a group of 6 men clustered around a solitary pool table. Nobody was playing, but there was a lot of backslapping and guffaws going on. Seth didn't really care what they were doing, but his fight hookup was one of the men concerned, so he was curious. The guy with the Grim Reaper belt buckle had spent a lot of time on his phone and was nudging his friends and nodding a lot. The solitary bartender was also keeping an eye on the crowd, so Seth assumed whatever was going on wasn't usual. Another thing that meant something weird was going on was there were no other customers. A few had come in, seen the group at the table, and immediately left. Not my problem. Seth could handle himself, especially against humans, but just as he was thinking about leaving and getting a bite to eat, the door of the bar flew open, and 2 men dragging a third came in, laughing loudly. "We got one, fellas," one of the men yelled to the group in the corner. "He's a bit knocked about, but he'll be alive and kicking tonight. Little bastard tried to use a phone to call the cops. Darryl proved a rifle didn't have to have bullets in it to hurt someone. Little git got a butt of it right across his head." The group in the corner laughed. Seth frowned. The man they were dragging was unconscious, his head hanging limply as the 2 men dragged him by his armpits across the floor. Dark hair. Seth couldn't see his face, but he knew instantly the dragged man was a wolf shifter. More than enough reason for Seth to leave. Except the damn man was glowing, and no one else was noticing that fucking glow except Seth. Fuck, it can't be. It fucking is, damn it. Concerned, even though he'd prefer not to be, Seth looked across to where the bartender had been standing, but the coward had disappeared. Fucking double fuck again. He picked up his glass and leaned against the back of his chair. I can't interfere. It's a human affair. That law gave Seth an automatic out, although he wasn't sure how that might apply to damaged mates. The fates were very fussy about how people treated their choices. He's a wolf. He probably lied to the wrong person. Yeah, that'll be what's happened. Unfortunately, watching the crowd and the way the bartender was still absent, that wasn't likely to be the case, and Seth knew it. Something illegal was going on. Someone's bound to interfere. Zeus watches out for shit like this. Seth looked over at the doors, almost expecting to see the demon Cass and his wolf mate come in the door, all guns blazing, or however it was they dealt with things. But nothing happened. Seth was still watching the group when his fight coordinator caught his eye. Muttering something to his friend, he wandered over. "New fighter?" Seth asked when the guy got close. "Fuck no." The biker hitched his pants over his gut. Guy couldn't fight his way out of a paper bag. Nah, He's, let's call him insurance, to make sure the guys fighting tonight can get patched up. Sounds good. When am I in? The biker chuckled, shaking his head. No point in having you fighting tonight, you never lose. And let's just say there are some interesting side wagers on a number of people who will be fighting tonight. Not your thing anyway. It's a free-for-all, like one big gang rumble, if you know what I mean, complete with knives and chains. 30 men go in, one comes out. It's an annual event. Seth shrugged. Must be a big paycheck for the guy who walks out. Why can't it be me? The winner's already decided. His biker associate leaned closer and lowered his voice. That one there, the one who needs a haircut, he's going to ensure the right man wins. He's a doc from over at Great Falls. Has a medical bag and everything. Yeah, he looks really keen to be here. Seth took a drink to hide his disgust. Meh. The Grim Reapers take what they want when they want, and ain't no one going to stop them. Who knows? We might let him go, or we might decide to keep him. The doc's a handy guy to have around with all the hunting accidents our boys get, and he can always keep the clubhouse clean in his downtime. A slave, in other words. Seth nodded, taking another swig of his drink. Are there going to be spectators at this event of yours, or is this a select members-only thing? Got any cash? A calculating look came over his biker associate's face. Everyone has to contribute to the pot, pay for the entertainment, so to speak. And of course, there's plenty of guys there prepared to bet on the outcome. Leaning back far enough so he could get his hand in his pocket, Seth pulled out a roll of cash and held it up. Enough for you? Well, dang, you've just become my new best friend, the biker drawled. Drink out, drink up, we are heading out in 5. You are so easily bought. Seth had no respect for the slob who walked back to his friends, and okay, he wasn't sure why he felt the need to be where the wolf was. I'm just making sure they let him go afterwards. Yep. There was something vulnerable about the unconscious wolf shifter, and that's all Seth was doing, keeping an eye on him. A good deed for once. One that might reflect well on him with his father. Once the doc did his job and was released, Seth would go back to keeping his distance and go back to waiting on Ra. He could barely swallow a snarl as the doc's 2 captors crossed his path again, still dragging the unconscious shifter with his long black hair. And that's the end. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you would like to watch or listen to more videos like this, then please hit the like and subscribe button. And if you're keen on reading the rest of this book, then please check it out on Amazon, or you can also get the narrated version by my actual narrator, not me, out on Audible. Hug the ones you love. I'll see you in the next video.